Hello everyone, my name is Hitesh and I welcome you all to TradeBin's YouTube channel. If you're new to this channel, please comment, like and subscribe on our videos, and please don't forget to press the bell notification icon. So as in when we publish new content, you get a notification straight onto your device. Now this video is a very interesting one because we're going to be talking about the top 3 IT stocks which we could be investing for long term in the current scenario. So without wasting any time, let us begin our discussion on how to pick the best 3 IT stock to invest right now for a considerable return in future. So how do we go about doing that? We simply have to go to the website of. Now this is a new website which has been launched by TradeBrains especially for the investing purpose. So as and when you want to invest, you want to do a complete research analysis based on what criteria should I invest in a certain company, what are the other factors which I should look at before investing in the companies. All the detail can be shortlisted and screened with the help of this website. Now if I were to pick up, say, the stocks of IT company, all I have to do is just search for the shares of TCS and I get the complete analysis of the share price of TCS, what is the market cap, what is the revenue over years, or how has the company been performing over a series of years. Now if you look carefully on the screen, the first thing which we get to know is the name of the company. Then we also get to know about the industry which it belongs to. The next information which we get to know is that whether it's a small cap company, mid-sized company or large cap company. We get information on that, and on the right hand side of that we get the total market capitalization of this company. So that is a basic info about TCS which is available at the first glance. Now as you go scroll down the menu, you get to see the revenue of the TCS on various years. As in the year 2016, the revenue which it made was 85,800 crores. As in when you go deep down the curve, you get to see the different revenues of which were made in different years by the performance of TCS company. You get information about the EPS of the company, the dividends which was provided by TCS for per share over the years is provided on this chart itself, and then the book value of the share is being mentioned here on the chart. Now if you go a little more deep down, you get the share price, that is the closing price of TCS from the time when it was completely launched in the market, as in from the time when it started trading. And you can filter the prices based on like how much time you want to see the prices for, maybe for 5 years, 2 years, 1 year. On the daily basis, you get to see the closing price of TCS on the screen right here. And if you go deep down more, you get to see the profitability ratios, that is the various profitability factors which are being analyzed by investors before investing in the stock market. The first being the return on equity, that is on each and every year what was the return on equity which was generated by the shares price of the TCS or by the performance of the TCS, the return on capital employed, the return on assets, the net profit margin, and we have also mentioned about the average profit margin for the last 3 years. So looking at the last year's performance, you can compare the performance in the current year, whether the company is underperformed or overperformed in this year. And if you go a little more down, you get a bar graph representation showing the revenue, net profit and the net profit margin in single graph. So this gives you a very informed or detailed analysis of the share price of the company. In simple terms, we can say that you can do a complete autopsy analysis of this company with the help of the simple charts. If you go a little more deep down, you get to see the growth pattern of the company, the 3-year CAGR, 5-year CAGR of the revenue, book value, net profit. Whatever information which is actually required by the investors to trade or to invest in the market is available at this website just at the scroll of the button. You get the most important leverage or the liquidity ratio, that is the debt to equity ratio, the current ratio, the interest coverage ratio, a quick ratio. Just by looking at the graph, you can understand the trend. That is, how is the current ratio been increasing or decreasing over the year? How is the debt to equity ratio been performing? And if you go on the curve, you get to see for that particular year what has been the performance or what is the current ratio for that year. If you go a little more down, you get to see the valuation ratios also. That is the PE ratio, EV by EBITDA ratio, price to book value ratio, price to class 4 ratio. Each and every information is available here in detail. And if you go a little more deep down, you get to see the profit and loss statement for the last 5 years, the balance sheet analysis for the last 5 years, the cash flow statement, the quarterly financial statement available for last 5 quarters, the shareholding pattern, that is how the shares have been held by the promoters, what is the FI investment in the shares, what are the DI investment in the shares. You get to see the trend, how have they been increasing or decreasing over years. You get the complete analysis of the shares looking at the charts here. Then in the next table, you get to see the 5-year analysis and the fact sheet. That is, these are the most important ratios which are being used by investors or which are being considered by investors before investing in the stock market. All the ratios are available here. Then you have companies, that is the peer companies, which can be compared here on this website. And if you go a little more deep down, you get to see the annual reports of the company for the last 3 years. And if at the end of the page you get to see the recent news of the TCS company, that is the news which impacts the TCS and its share price, are being flashed on this website at the end of the website. Now the next question which you could be having in mind is that how do I choose the share? That is, how do I choose the IT companies which I want to invest? For that, it's simple. You just go or click on the screener which is on the right hand side of the screen. You go into the screener page. You choose the industry which you are want to research right now. Say for this research I use the IT software industry. You scroll down the menu and get to see the IT software here, and then you run the diagnosis based on that. Now if you look at it, there are more than 50 to 100 companies which are available right now here. Now all these companies doesn't concern me. I want to see only certain companies which meet the criteria I am trying to select. So the next criteria which I select is I'm looking only for, say, large cap companies with a market cap of minimum 26,500 crores. You run the diagnosis based on that, and you get a list of these 6 companies which fits in the criteria or which fits in the bill. Now upon getting 6 companies, I want to choose, say, the top 2 companies which I should be investing in. So you can do the analysis of these 6 companies. Say I want to do the analysis of first, say, TCS, Infi and HCL against each other. How do I do it? I just simply go on to the compare stock button. I open it in a separate window. So I just type here TCS, Infosys and say HCL Technologies. Now then I click on the compare stock button. Now this is the most comprehensive and it's the exclusive feature which is available on the portal of TradeBrains. No other website has this right now. Now what happens is, generally before the launch of this website, if I were to compare the stocks against each other, I have to open 3 different windows. Then I have to keep scrolling across the windows to find out the comparison. Here on this website, what we have done is we have given the comparison on one sheet itself. Say I want to compare the market cap of these 3 companies. All I just have to do is to compare the stocks of these 3 companies. I get the information of the market cap of these companies. That is, the market cap of TCS is 9,40,000 crores, Infosys is 4,26,000 crores, and HCL is 2,14,000 crores. And I want to compare the P ratio of the company, the price to book value, the yield ratio. All the ratios which I want to compare is available right now here, and these are also plotted chartically. The important ratios have been plotted chartically. So you can have a graphical representation and you can have a numerical representation of the ratios which you want to explore. Now then I also have the profitability ratio of these 3 companies compared right in front of me. So I don't have to go to different websites or different pages just to find the profitability ratio. Everything is available at one centralized place, so it becomes convenient and easy to research on these companies. The net profit margin for TCS has been 25%, which is better than Infosys, but which is slightly lesser than HCL Tech right now. So you get a comparative analysis of the 3 top IT companies just at the click of the button. The EBITDA margin is available. The return equity of the TCS is 43%, Infosys is 25%, and HCL is 26.5%. The ROC, that is the return on capital employed, is available right now here. Return on assets. Each and every information which I want as an investor, the important or the basic ratio which I want to see, are available just at the click of the button. So I don't have to go to any other places. So one centralized place to do all the analysis before investing in the stock market. If I go a little deep down, I have a valuation ratio, that is EV by EBITDA ratios, the dividend yield ratio, the PE ratio, each and every ratio which is of concern to the investor. That is the ratios which have been generally looked by the investor before investing in the market, are all available just at the click of the button. Just at the centralized place, you just have to plug in the companies you just want to research and you just get all the information you want to see right now. The short-term ratios like the quick ratio, current ratio, interest coverage ratio, the debt to equity ratio is all available right now. Now, if I were to take the specific example of interest coverage ratio here, the interest coverage ratio of TCS is 57.52. The interest coverage ratio of Infosys is 180, and for HCL is 47. So what does the interest coverage ratio means? The capability of the company to pay off the interest against the loan which they have taken. And all the 3 companies are doing very well. And according to me, any interest coverage ratio more than 10 to 15 is good enough. That is, they have that much capability to pay the interest which they owe to the market. The efficiency ratio, that is the asset turnover ratio, the inventory turnover ratio, the receivable days, the inventory days, everything is available just at the click of the button at one centralized place. The dividend matrix and other metrics are available here. Now, if I were to say choose the two companies out of these three companies which I should be investing, the first company the two companies which come to my mind in terms of market cap would be TCS or the Infosys. But that can't be the only factor criteria for choosing to invest in the market. You also have to look at the PE ratio, and the PE ratio for TCS, Infosys and HCL are almost similar to each other. So if I were to still choose between the three two, I would still go for TCS or Infosys. But if I were to go a little more down, now if I were to say return on equity or the return on capital employed, in that case still TCS leads them by a distance. But then the opinion changes from Infosys to HCL Tech, because it's been performing well over years. The return on equity is better than Infosys for HCL Tech. The ROC is better for HCL Tech than Infosys. So if you look at more and more ratios, or if you do the more deeper analysis, you tend to favor the TCS as the first choice to invest in the market for long term, and the second choice is still between Infosys and HCL. So we go a little more deep down and we start comparing the other ratios. That is, what is the net profit margin between Infosys or HCL? In that regard, HCL Tech is doing better than Infosys. The EBITDA margin is better for HCL Tech than as compared to Infosys. The return on equity is being led by TCS, but Infosys and HCL are almost at par in the market. And the other ratios which we could compare here is the EV by EBITDA ratio, the PE ratio. The PE ratio is the price to earning ratio. And if I were to look at the comparative study of these three companies right now, the first choice which will come to my mind would be the TCS, the second being the HCL Tech, and the third being the Infosys right now, based on this comparison right now. Now, we all could be saying that we have compared three companies only. What if I want to choose a different company out of the sixth company which we initially find out? So I choose the next example could be like a Tech Mahindra or L&T or Wipro. So for the sake of discussion, say I choose Tech Mahindra as a second option for me and not Infosys. So I just plug in Tech Mahindra here, and then I do a comparative analysis here. So the comparative study comes here for Tech Mahindra, and as we've already shortlisted one company as TCS for investing, so we have to compare between Tech Mahindra and HCL Tech right now. Now, if you were to the comparative analysis of HCL Tech against Tech Mahindra, the PE being 16.87 for Tech Mahindra and HCL Tech is 23.89. So in that regards, Tech Mahindra leads the jump here. And if you were to go a little more deep down in the ratio calculation, that's the return on equity. In that regard, HCL Tech is doing better than Tech Mahindra. Even for ROC, that is return on capital employed. For in that regard also, HCL Tech leads Tech Mahindra by a distance. And if you were to go a little more deep down in terms of net profit margin, in that regard also HCL Tech is beating all the two other competitors right now. And even the EBITDA margin is higher for HCL Tech. And if you were to do the comparative outlook of these four companies right now, that is TCS, HCL Tech, Tech Mahindra. So the top two which comes to my mind is TCS and HCL Tech. And looking at the other factors, the third company which I would be choosing right now would be Infosys. So according to our analysis done on our website itself, the three companies which I would be choosing to invest right now would be TCS is my first choice, second being HCL Tech, and the third being Infosys. So these are three companies which are recommended by us in the IT sector right now. And you can do the comparative analysis for any sector right now. You could be doing for banking sector, you could be doing for IT sector, you could be doing for auto sector, auto ancillary sector. Each and every sector analysis is very simply possible. Even you can do a cross sector analysis. So you can choose say two companies from banking stock and one from the IT sector, or one refinery against two IT stocks. All kind of analysis possible with the help of this website. This is one of the best features which I have come across while doing the comparative analysis, and it's very simple and convenient to use. I hope this video gave you a good information about how do you compare stocks at one place, that's on one website. If you have any more queries again as to how to compare stocks or what are the other IT companies which we should be talking about, please put your comments on the comment section. I'll be more than glad to answer it. I thank you for your patient hearing. I'll again see you next videos of financial education. Thank you so much.